What is up, guys? So, if you haven't heard the news yet, there is apparently a J.J. Abrams cut of Rise of Skywalker, which would actually make quite a bit of sense because after I watched the movie, I saw it opening day. It seemed like there was some parts missing. It didn't seem. It seemed a little scattered, a little too fast paced, and it seemed like there were some important parts missing and some missed opportunities. So, a J.J. Abrams cut for Rise of Skywalker would be incredible. And it's kind of gone viral. I've seen tons of articles and stuff over it over the last few hours, so I figured I would cover it. So I found an article here. It says a Reddit leak revealed key scenes were removed from J.J. Abrams' cut of Rise of Skywalker. Another day, another Star Wars revelation. A recent Reddit post revealed that the version of Star Wars Rise of Skywalker that we saw in theaters was not the one that J.J. Abrams wanted to put out. Not only did the post describe key scenes were taken out of the movie, but it also discussed the toxic dynamic that was happening behind the scene. So apparently it wasn't a very good environment, which is weird because you think Star Wars and Disney and lighthearted happy, but I guess not. Fans are demanding that Disney release the JJ cut of the film and are claiming that audiences and the directors were robbed of a satisfying Star Wars conclusion. I think that, yeah, there was missed opportunities, and the ending could have been more satisfying. But with what was put out, I think it worked, and what they had to work with from the last movie, I think it worked. So I mean, leaving the theater, I knew there was some things here and there that I didn't like that were wrong. Felt a little choppy, but I felt okay with how it ended. Obviously, there were some things that I would change, and there's some things that a lot of people would change. So a potential for a JJ cut that could be awesome. Like an extended edition kind of thing would release, kind of like they did with Lord of the Rings. Like I'd be all over that. Here's the post, or the post ignited the Star Wars fan base, and hashtag release the JJ cut took over Twitter. It revealed that Disney made several changes to Rise of Skywalker that the director either didn't want or had no knowledge of. Which you would think he's directing the movie, he should have pretty much knowledge over everything and have a little bit of say at least. The original cut of the film was 3 hours 2 minutes, and that was the JJ cut. JJ was shown a version that was 2 hours and 37 minutes, and he hesitantly agreed to it. The version that made it to theaters was 2 hours and 22 minutes. So even of the cut that he saw and kind of agreed to, there was still stuff cut out of that. Wow, I couldn't imagine a 3 hour, 2 minute Rise of Skywalker. That would be awesome. Like Endgame. Endgame came out, dude. That movie was long, but like you didn't know. It was so good. Like there was a lot of it that was so good that you were just caught up in the movie. Like the time didn't even matter. It just flew by. And adding almost another 40 plus minutes to this movie, you know how much you could have put in there? Like that could have been so good. One of the biggest changes was the ending. Instead of hearing the voices of Jedi's past, a few Jedi, limited to only those who appeared in full-length films before, were supposed to appear in the form of Force ghosts and form a barrier between Rey and the Sith. Speaking of characters related to the Force, it's hinted at in its final version that Finn is Force sensitive, but in the original version there are scenes that would make it more apparent. Okay. I would love to have seen Force ghosts. I was hoping we would get some of that. Um, Now, with that being said, I really did like the voices, like the Force voice scene. That was really cool. But it would have definitely been kind of a more emotional scene and could have been a little bit longer if you would have added in like Qui Gon, Obi Wan, Anakin, Mace, Yoda, Luke, um, all in like a full like Force form, kind of like powering Rey. Um, like inspiring her and giving her the full power of the Force and of the Jedi, and to take down Dooku. I mean, not Dooku, Palpatine. That would have been sick. Like, could you imagine that? Like, the emotional response that I had to that scene, anyways, would have just been triple, tenfold, and I would have left the theater with even a higher, higher thoughts in the movie, and it probably would have gotten a better rating, in my opinion, if just from that one scene. That's all it would have taken. That's all it would have taken is just that one scene. And Finn being Force sensitive, man, his character when the Force Awakens came out was my favorite. Like, I didn't like Kylo that much. I really liked Finn. Like, he wielded a lightsaber. You could tell a little bit he may have been Force sensitive. He is a rogue stormtrooper, super sick. I was so excited for his character. And then Last Jedi came out and he became like a side character, not that important. And even in this movie, he yells Rey's name a little bit, seems lost, kind of like not really part of the story. He was there, but not really there. So I don't know. I think a lot of wasted potential, and I know John Boyega is not very happy with how they used his character or some of his social media. Whether that's him posting, it kind of looks like it is him posting on his social media. He kind of had a few outbursts here and there about certain things that went on in the movie. So another big change was that Rose was supposed to have a bigger role in the story. JJ had previously praised Rian Johnson for casting Kelly Marie Tran as Rose Tico, and The Rise of Skywalker directed received flack for her role being cut to just over a minute. According to the Reddit source who claims to have worked on the production of the film, JJ was not a fan of her role being limited to. I mean, I see why they did that, because she got a lot of hate in the last movie. So if they're trying to reach out more to the fan base, I could see why they cut her role, since not a lot of people liked her. But that's just a personal preference thing. I don't know if her role being increased in the movie would have really changed the outcome that much. If the movie was longer, maybe they could have, but obviously they cut stuff out. So that one's a personal preference. I don't think it would have changed the outcome of the movie too much, though. We almost got a longer Ben Solo redemption arc in a romantic Finn-Poe relationship. Now, I do believe there should have been more Kylo/Ben Solo redemption. I think his character was fantastic in this one, portrayed really well. Adam Driver is a fantastic actor. I mean, you couldn't ask for more from a character or from an actor. I mean, the guy's incredible, and what the potential that they had for his character with his acting ability was just like through the roof. And they started to bring his character back to somebody I could like and enjoy and root for. I mean, I started to like him a little bit in The Last Jedi, but and I was hoping they would make his character better, because he had like a lot of things I didn't really like, and he felt too weak, and I feel like he should be a lot stronger than he was, and then he comes into this movie just fucking top notch. It was good. I really enjoyed how they portrayed his character. There were some things I would have changed, obviously, and a longer story arc could have, maybe added a few of those in there. Romantic Finn-Poe, I have no personal preference on that. Like, I'm surprised they didn't, because I heard rumors of that previous to the movie being released. They kind of seem more like friends, like just bros, like in this one and even in the past one. There didn't really seem to be any like romantic tension, so they could have done that. I'm surprised they didn't. The source claimed that the Force Awakens director had set up a Finn-Poe relationship in the first film and fought with Disney to see it come to fruition in the final film. But ultimately, Disney won the battle. Even Oscar Isaac was aware of the fight, which is why the actor blamed Disney for being too afraid to have a same-sex relationship and not JJ instead. It's kind of surprising that Disney, of all companies, if this is true, didn't push for that more, especially with the times when it's pro-LGBT. So, another issue that upset fans was that Kylo Ren was supposed to have a larger redemption arc. In the scene where Rey stabs Kylo and then heals him, she effectively kills Kylo and brings Ben Solo back to life. But she's not the only one who helped Ben be reborn. The source claimed that Leia, using her own memories as well as Ben's to create a physical manifestation of his own thoughts to nudge him towards what he needed to do. That was her own way of communicating that with him, and it wasn't possible without her dying in the process. She made the ultimate sacrifice for her son, and this flew over people's heads with the Disney cut. Kind of. I mean, they could have gone into more detail and explained that a little bit better, and I think people would have obviously been able to understand it a little bit better. But if you do watch the movie and you pay attention enough, you can kind of see that she's tapping into the Force. Her body's laying there. It seems like it was sapping her energy, and then after all that goes down, there's that whole Han Solo scene. And I kind of was putting 2 and 2 together, but I wasn't 100% sure. So if this is true, that does clarify that. The scene in which Ben dies was also originally 4 minutes long. JJ also fought against Ben and Rey's kiss. There were also other scenes where Rey and Ben struggled with their fates separately, with Rey coming to terms with her dark bloodline and Ben coming to terms with the regret he has over his past. Rey and Finn kiss. It didn't bother me. Seemed fine. I would have liked that death scene to be a little bit more personable and a little bit longer, and obviously with it being cut up the way it was, we kind of only got a really short, rushed scene that was somewhat emotional, but I feel like it was so fast that you couldn't really feel for the characters at the time. I would have liked Rey coming to terms with her dark bloodline, kind of accepting the fact of who she was, might have made her more powerful. Ben coming to terms with the regret he has over his past. I mean, that would have been good because it showed that he was changing from Kylo back to Ben Solo and kind of accepting his failures and accepting the light side of the Force. So why did we not get the JJ cut? According to the source, the director was heartbroken over the final film, and the weak final version was actually what Disney intended to do. Warner Brothers has been attempting to sign JJ to work with future DC projects, and Disney was concerned that he would make DC into a more of a threat to Marvel. The goal behind Rise of Skywalker became to make the Star Trek director look less desirable to Warner Brothers to protect their future investments. It's like a sabotage. Wow. I mean, none of this is really confirmed. It's all a leak. But I mean, if Disney's willing to play ball like that, that kind of shows that they're a little bit shady of a company. But that is, it's all alleged. It's not confirmed. You never know if Disney would actually do something like that. That kind of gets into like the conspiracy side of it. Is that it for the article? That is it for the article. I think the movie had a lot of potential. There was a lot of scenes where you could have added in certain people from the past, Force ghosts. If it wouldn't have been playing catch up and would have had a little bit longer runtime, you could have incorporated more Finn, more Rose if you wanted to. You could get more emotionally connected to the characters so that when certain people pass on, maybe it becomes more emotional and you feel more tethered to the character and to the story, so you become more invested. I'm if all this is true, I'm hoping we do get a JJ cut. I doubt we will, but it could be a good investment play for Disney to release it and just charge extra. I mean, there's a lot of things that they cut out that could have been really good too. It would have, increased the film's overall value quite a bit. I mean, if you make a good movie, it's gonna do better. And say this movie has all these things, right? I watch it, I tell a friend, hey, you need to go see this. That brings somebody else into the theater paying rather than having them wait to go to the dollar theater or wait till it gets released. So to sabotage something like this, I don't know if it makes sense, but I'm just a fan, so I take it as it is. But I figured I would jump on this J.J. Abrams cut, because if it's true, man, it could be one hell of a thing. Anyways, Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about a potential JJ cut and some things that you guys might have added into the story yourself. And as always, may the force be with you.